Man, let me tell you. This world is fucked up. And I don't even have to tell you. I know for a fact that a lot of y'all are fully, blatantly aware that this world is very cruel, very dark, very unfair. Recently, Sony announced that they were going to make a remake of Horizon, I think Zero Dawn. And that's cool and everything. Like, not to knock that game off, it wasn't bad. It wasn't shit. But they ain't gonna give us a remake of Silent Hill. They're really gonna do us dirty like that, you know what I mean? Or at least put a Bloodborne in the PC. Put it on, remaster that one. That one was a cult classic. It was great and everything else, you know what I mean? Something along those lines, you know what I mean? Why is it always that Last of Us got a remake, Resident Evil 4 about to get another one again? You might as well put that in like X-ray machines or something of that nature if it's gonna be like that. Like, you might as well make it so that way you can hack it in and put it into play it onto any system or any contraption, just like a Doom game at that point, you know what I mean? Not to knock it off, but come on, man, the scaling of it's just not fair. It's just not fair, man. This life is fucked. I tell you that. It really do get to you. Recently, there was a docudrama that just came out. And I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about because it's been all over the news, all over social media, the TikToks, the Twitters. The Dahmer docudrama, the Jeffrey Dahmer. And they started that man, Evan Peters into it. So they made it seem, it's just like with any docudrama. They glorify it in a way, even though they proclaim that we're not trying to glorify Jeffrey Dahmer. We're just trying to show everybody what he did. No, that's if there was an educational documentary, there are plenty. There is a plethora of those out there, including with like actual like news clips of interviews that Dahmer was, doing before he got, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's a rarity. It's out there. You just got to go and look it up. So there really is no need to be making these kinds of movies, cuz here's the thing, right? The Dahmer docudrama, it's not the first. There are plenty of more that was made, not recently, but over the years. They just keep making these kinds of movies and such. It's not rare. It's really not. We all know what happens and everything, but the thing is that these folks, I don't even know if I can call them true crime fanatics, because, well, I guess I could. I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, you do you when it comes to what you want to enjoy and that sort of thing. But as long as you keep it respectful for those who actually been through it, who went through it, right? There are a lot of Dahmer sympathizers who look at him and they see him as like a poor little puppy, and they feel empathy for him, but they don't keep that same energy for the victims. That's why you gotta look at him sideways. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers be. Here's the thing, right? It's okay to stay informed, to be educated when it comes down to history, right? As we all know, history is fucked up. There's a lot of monstrosities that happen in this world. Like I said in the beginning, this world is a cruel, dark place. So it's not always going to be pretty. Especially with these kinds of crimes, these heinous crimes that happen during those times. It's not a fun route to go through. However, if you have that curiosity, there is a lot of educational sources like articles and interviews, documentaries that are informational, right? Because what happens is and I've seen it with like other cases as well, like with the Columbine kids. They portray it as, in a way, listen, it's okay to have curiosities. Curiosities do get the best of you, and I am no exception, especially. There was a time in my life where I would research the fuck out of crimes, like people who committed crimes and such, but I did so in the way where I knew, like, even when I was younger, I knew that these people are fucked up, like they're in hell. We know, even if there isn't a proof that purgatory is a thing, there is some sort of an entity, like they're gonna go through the process of rebirth in the cycle of life, but they're gonna end up in a fucked up realm. You know what I mean? Or they're just gonna be in purgatory, however way you see it. Because, yeah, they did some fucked up shit, and there's no way that they could ever redeem themselves from all that monstrosities. What they've done is destroyed lives, families, communities. The world's not the same after that. You really can't redeem yourself from that point on, no matter what you do. And even if you were to convert and everything else, because that's the thing too, is that, going back to Dahmer, these I would like to say that they're grifters, because I truly just don't want, I refuse to believe that there are people out there who will genuinely look at a camera and say, yeah, he repented, he was a Christian before he passed away, therefore he is free from his sins, and therefore he is forgiven. I refuse to believe that. That is the flaw when it comes to religion, not just with Christianity, but with Catholicisms and other ones. But I'm going to focus more on Christianity and Catholicism. You mean to tell me that the victims are up in heaven, and they're going to see Dahmer again because he said, I'm sorry, and 10 Hail Marys, and all of a sudden that makes it okay for him to, go to heaven, to see the pearly gates? You really mean to tell me that that's really the case? I refuse to believe that. I truly do refuse to believe that. That is a fucked up thing to say, especially since this case, this incident that happened, it wasn't that long ago. The victims' families are still alive. They're still around. They're seeing it day in and day out, especially with this whole release of these sympathizers and these folks telling them, oh, he's in heaven. Like, no. This motherfucker is in hell. Man. Going back to the curiosities, though. Curiosity can't get the best of people. I understand that full and foremost, but there is a difference between wanting to be educated and to see the other... not the other side. How would I put this? At least for me, I'm going to speak on my behalf. I'm very curious. I like learning about psychology. I love diving myself into the realm of what goes on in the human psyche, what can mess up a person, or how they just end up being born, right? Because a lot of times it's genetics, it's how they're born, maybe the environment, accidents, physically, right? Traumatic brain injuries and that sort of thing. It always intrigues the hell out of me, right? If you were to start from 6 months now, going to the gym 5 or 6 times, bulking up, getting muscle, by the time you reach to that point, you will be built. You will be swole. You will be up in, big old beefcake type, you know what I mean? But it only takes one moment, one life event to fuck you up and spin you around for the rest of your life. That's how it be. And I'm very intrigued on learning on how that works, and if there's methods of preventing these sorts of things that can happen, because in a perfect world, right, none of this would ever happen, right? People would just get along, people will be okay, there wouldn't be all these heartbreaking moments in life and in society, but it's not the case. And with my curiosity, I've always liked learning about, especially when it comes to killers, right? Because when I was in high school, right, I would always look up these documentaries about the Columbine kids or Virginia Tech, and or during that time when I was in high school, that was when the Sandy Hook shooting took place. So it was just so many crazy things back to back to back, and I was just so intrigued on learning on like why do people one day get up and do the things that they do, these monstrosities, you know what I mean? So I like looking up, I like learning the human psyche, but even then it's like I don't sympathize with them. Yeah, granted, like they were around my age when that happened, but that's still not the case. That does not excuse them for what they have done. I don't feel bad about them, you know what I mean? So it really baffled me, especially during the time. And you know this, if you were there, you know, on Tumblr 2010 through like 2015, if you've been through all corners of Tumblr, then you know, man, you know how fucking wild it can be with the fandoms and stuff. It's one thing to like anime and comics and movies, but it's a whole other fucked up realm. Like, you need to talk to someone. If you look up and quote unquote idolize these killers, especially when it came down to the Columbine kids, like, where's the sympathy for the victims? Like, why the fuck was I reading about poems about Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold bitch asses because they were troubled and they were so cute and everything. First and foremost, let me say this right now. They would have not have picked you. Okay? Those guys wouldn't have picked you. Jeffrey Dahmer wouldn't have picked you. None of them would have picked you, right? Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy, all those fools, they wouldn't. If you were to met, you know what I mean? You wouldn't change their hearts. You wouldn't change their minds. You have to get that through your thick skull that you are not different, okay? Damn, man. The psychology of a pick-me, I would like to dive more into it. My analysis, and this is just my take, right? So take my take with a grain of salt. The way I see it, when these people be, you know, thirsting over these types of individuals, it always gets to me, and always gets to the conclusion that they just did not get the attention that they needed when they were growing up, whether it's parental or siblings or the community, right? It's one of those things, and you get so irritated. So when you see someone else from the outside who is being well liked by others and everybody's cool with them, nothing, you know what I mean? And then you just feel like, oh, you're like, I'm gonna go and, you know, tell them off and shit. And then I think I'm better than that person, right? So you allow that jealousy and insecurities to consume and rule your life. And, you know, on a side note, y'all, regardless of what you went through in your life, regardless of the things that you've seen or done, it is better to grow and to move on rather than letting it consume you, right? If you allow your insecurities to rule your day-to-day life, you are weak for letting those win. And we all have those moments of weakness, okay? But if you are fully aware of the things that make you behave the way that you do, and you still allow it to consume you because you just given up, you just throw your hands up, you're like, well, this is just how it's gonna be, or nah, I don't want to talk to nobody, I'm not gonna open up, I'm gonna just keep it inside. You are weak. You are a weak individual, and I advise you seek help, talking to someone, doing art, making music, something, anything, right? Or even professional help. There's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, granted, especially if you're an American, it's fucked up out there. It is a hard thing to do with this healthcare system and all that sort of thing, especially with the stigma with mental health, right? You got to open up to your loved ones, and they're not going to be so open-minded about it, especially if you are a child of immigrant parents. I totally get that. That is not always going to be the easiest thing to do, but with time, there is a way, there are methods in which you will be able to overcome those things and not let it consume you, to be better, to grow. Because once you are true to yourself and you don't let the lies, right? Because you will go fucking insane. You will dive yourself into madness if you believe a lie, right? This lie of, oh, I am strong, I am stoic, I am, right? Especially when it comes to stoicism, because it is a good factor to have in your life, but there is a difference between not allowing the negativity to get to you, or just not allowing things to process in you at all, right? To completely ignore or neglect your needs, that is not stoicism. That is neglect. You need to overcome those things. Then you will thrive in this life. You know what I mean? Going back to the Dahmer and everything else, the one thing that I will say is that it is really fucked up to see these sympathizers go on and, you know, shit on people who, you know, for all you know, you could be still talking to the victims or the people who knew the victims. So that right there is already fucked up. But even if it took place a very, very long time ago, why the fuck are you glorifying a cannibalistic, murderous, pedophile motherfucker who, there is nothing special about Dahmer. The only thing that, you know, the reason why he got away with the things that he did was because he was this white dude. That was just pretty much it, right? You know, this whole system, the way that it's built, even to this day, it's so fucked up. So, you know, when he picked his victims, which is predominantly black and brown men or boys, of course they, you know, the police took such a long time in order to figure out, like, why were these people disappearing? It's because they just don't care. Dahmer knew that if he picked his victims, if he were to get those kinds of victims, then he would get away with it. And unfortunately, he did with a lot of them. There is, as of now, to my knowledge, they say that there is 17 victims, but I, along with other people, do kind of believe that there are more. Considering the nature of these crimes, he was able to dispose the bodies pretty decency. Like, he knew his way around with when it came to chemistry and that sort of thing. So I truly do believe that there are more victims, more bodies out there. It's just not been discovered yet. That's what I believe. And yeah, this whole thing, the thing that's crazy when it comes to these docudramas about these monstrosities is that big corporations like Netflix, for example, right, with this whole Dahmer thing, the victims' families are not going to get a check from all of that. They're not going to get a penny, nor did the producers reach out to the families to ask for permission. This was just all made, and they unfortunately have to relive the traumatization of their lives. You know what I'm saying? And it's not cool. In the end, people are getting hurt for your entertainment, and it's just not okay. And I will not watch it, you know, accept it and that sort of thing. It's just not I just can't do it. It's just not. Like I said, if you have a curiosity, if you want to learn more about what actually happened, if you have that genuine curiosity, I would say just go watch an informational documentary, right? A professionally made documentary where they state the facts rather than glorifying him and making him appear sexy. Like, why the fuck did, you know what I mean? They knew what they were doing when they casted Evan Peters into it. Like, they see the way that these people are reacting when he was on what was it, American Horror Story and all of them. Despite him being a shitty character, all in all, he was still like glorified and sexualized. So like, of course they're gonna do it. They know how it works, right? Because in the end, all they care about is making money. And get your money, but not in this fashion. This is fucked up. Profiting off of people's miseries and shit, man. This fucked. Do you when it comes to life, but I mean, if you're the type to sympathize or to thirst over these types of dudes, these killers and everything, man, seek help, dude. Seriously, seek help. Especially if especially if you have tattoos of these kinds of individuals, man. Go fuck yourself. Seriously. Go fuck yourself. Motherfuckers. I am done with that. That is my take on it. And now I'm going to move on to getting high and low. This is the section where I read off confessions or I give people advice. If you have me on Instagram, at Gatotoby, that's GATOTOBEY. I post a link every now and then, the NGL link. It's not gonna lie, so you pretty much send me anonymous confessions and that sort of thing, and I read them out. And I have a few, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. First one goes, I can read people's minds. That's great. That's really great. I'm glad. I wish I had that kind of ability. I wish I had that kind of ability to be able to see in the future. Like, oh, that's so Raven, you know what I mean? Get that vision going and that sort of thing. But like very vaguely, because I don't want to be able to like read everybody's thoughts through and through. I think that it's okay to be oblivious to a certain degree. I don't want to be fully aware of a lot of things, like living, ignorance is a bliss. That is 100% true. Facts. I would not want to be immersed into a lot of other things, let me tell you, especially when it comes to the internet. Going back to that topic, I want to be a part of that. No. That's great. I'm happy for you. Whoever said this, I can read other people's minds. I'm very happy for you. Moving on. This next one goes, I wish I could look like you. Well, thank you. But I hope you love yourself. I struggle with myself, with my body and that sort of thing. All my life and stuff, dude, man. And people will, in my life, have torn me down because of my body size and that sort of thing. And looking back at my old photos, especially when I was in elementary and middle school, I was scrawny throughout the time of my years and such. And I don't know, I was always in the belief that I was overweight and that sort of thing. So to finally grow and appreciate my body little by little, it's great. And I hope you do too. I hope you're able to gain the confidence, that sort of thing, and everything else. And yeah. Just hope you're doing well, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. Next confession goes, I don't brush my teeth. Oh my god, holy shit. I don't brush my teeth. Why? Dude, this is fucking crazy. Bro, you're that's insane. No. Yo, that's insane. That's really fucking insane. I don't know what to say. I mean, damn. Like, granted, sometimes people forget. That's understandable, but goddamn, like, in general, like, you don't brush your teeth, like, at all? Like, what the fuck? No, man. Take care of your chompers, man. It's expensive to repair them, and it's painful, especially if you have to, like, get your teeth removed, or you gotta get your cavities drilled in. That's a lot, dude. I can't. I can never, but I'm happy you got that out of the way. Next one goes, I didn't tell anyone when I got COVID. That's fucking insane, dude. Holy shit, dude. That's like a lot of people, unfortunately. That's how I was able to get COVID, was because someone that was close to me fucking, I was out partying. This was like during like the peak pandemic, right? So when lockdown was still in effect, they were still partying and everything else, despite the cases going like crazy, people dropping everywhere and that sort of thing. I ended up catching it because of that. And then that was history, man. That shit was ass. I got it before the vaccine was available, so I took it in raw. I raw dogged the fuck out of it. I got, barebacked by fucking COVID, you know what I mean? That shit was terrible. I would not recommend that at all. So if you haven't got your vaccine up until this point, please do so. Please get the booster, please. That shit was ass. That shit's ass. I think you should make sure that if you don't have that be a habit, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew you had COVID, or even like quarantine, get away from people, like, even if you have to work and you're not able to get the time off, wear triple mask, it's something, dude. Anything to not spread that shit, because granted, you and I can catch it again and we'll be okay, but the people around us, right? People who are vulnerable, they can catch it and they'll end up, being seriously injured, or they can end up, worst case scenario, perishing away. You don't want that on you, do you? So please do your part. And just telling people, like, Jesus Christ, dude. Motherfuckers. God damn. All right. And then I think this is the last one. The last one goes, I have a private TikTok to post thirst traps. That's sick. I think that's pretty sick. I think, is it privatized? Like people have to pay to access to it? Or is it just like your double life, quote unquote? Like that's like your alter ego. And you're just posting thirst traps on there like that. Is that how you be? I think it's great. But it also depends on like the profession that you're in, because unfortunately, a lot of jobs, if they see that you're posting risque, anything on social media, you'll unfortunately be hit with, a permanent vacation. So I hope that, that's not your case for you doing that, but also privacy too. I understand. I respect that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you telling me that. I'm happy that you're able to get it out the way. I always think about getting myself involved in that sort of thing, in the business of feet and that sort of thing, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I think with time, we'll see in the future. The future is uncertain, so we just don't know what's going to happen, and I appreciate you telling me this. I really do. Thank you so much. And that's that for this week's episode of Getting High and Low. Again, if you guys want to submit confessions or ask for advice, that sort of thing, you can post up on my Instagram or my Twitter, either or. You can hit me on the DMs. Both handles are at GatoTobey. That's GATOTOBEY. And I think that wraps up for that, folks. Sorry it's not as long as it usually is. I've just been really caught up with a lot of things going on in my life right now, and hoping by next week or a couple weeks from now I'll be able to get more up in the loop and up in the arms and that sort of thing with more long-lasting content, because this is gonna be a pretty short episode. But other than that, I appreciate you all stopping by, listening up until this point, and I will see you all in the next episode. This is Gato from Lonely Corner Radio, and I am out. Have a good one. Peace.